I talk a lot about the recordings, but the important part of being able to do the CDs that I've been able to do was the gentleman that helped me do them. Guy's name was Ed Stabler, and Ed was an amazing guitar player and had been awarded, through the Western Music Association, had been awarded several times as a musician. And when I met Ed, I had not been playing. I'd stopped playing for almost a decade. I just quit. And I came back to it when I met him, and he was instrumental, absolutely instrumental in my being able to come back and eventually being able to record and do what I do now. I lost Ed, or we lost Ed, this last January. He died during a surgery that he was having, and it's been a tough year because of that. So going out on the road and knowing that he's not either with me or there when I get back to town has been kind of tough. This is a song that Ed did. It's not his song. A guy named Michael Peter Smith wrote this. But Ed Stabler did this song better than anybody else out there. And I never learned it until he died. And so this is for Ed, and it's a beautiful song called The Dutchman. Dutchman's not the kind of man to keep his thumb jammed in the dam that holds his dreams in. But that's a secret only Margaret knows. When Amsterdam is golden in the summer, Margaret brings him breakfast. She believes him. The tulips bloom beneath the snow. He's mad as he can be, but Margaret only sees that sometimes. Sometimes she sees her unborn children in his eyes. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. The Dutchman still wears wooden shoes. His cap and coat are patched with the love that Margaret sewed there. Sometimes he thinks he's still in Rotterdam, and he watches tugboats down canals, calls out to them when he thinks he knows the captain, till Margaret comes to take him home again, through unforgiving streets that trip him though she holds his arm. Sometimes he thinks that he's alone and calls her name. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuider Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Winter whirls the windmills round. She winds his muffler tighter, and they sit in the kitchen. Some tea with whiskey keeps away the dew, and he sees her for a moment, calls her name. Margaret makes the bed up, singing some old love song. A song she learned when it was very new. He hums a line or two. They sing together in the dark. The Dutchman falls asleep, and Margaret blows the candle out. Let us go to the banks of the ocean, where the walls rise above the Zuyder Zee. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. Long ago, I used to be a young man, and dear Margaret remembers that for me. It's getting a little easier to do that song every time.